Good evening, and welcome to Devlin's Nightmare Theater in the BloodyBlu film Oubliette. Tonight we'll be looking at an Italian horror film that reached global popularity in the late 70s. Italian horror master Dario Argento crafted this film that influenced a generation of young filmmakers. The Bird with the Crystal Plumage may have put him on the map in Italy in 1970, but 7 years later he would shake up the horror genre on a world stage. A number of Argento's great works have made their way to Blu-ray. And finally, his most celebrated film has made the upgrade with a glorious 4K restoration. It's a ballet of blood seen through stained glass eyes. Synapse Films presents their exclusive 40th anniversary Steelbook release of Suspiria. The film was restored from the original uncut 35mm negative over the course of 3 years, with the supervision of director of photography Luciano Tivoli. The Steelbook displays gorgeous new artwork, and also includes a bonus slipcover with alternative artwork, and a special collector's edition booklet with interviews, artwork, and liner notes. The 3-disc set includes 2 Blu-rays, which contain the film with 2 audio commentary options, a visual essay by Michael McKenzie, a featurette on the German locations used for shooting, a retrospective featurette celebrating 40 years of Suspiria, an interview with actress Barbara Magnolfi, alternative credit sequences and various trailer and TV spots. The 3rd disc is an audio CD with the entire Suspiria remastered soundtrack by Goblin. Now that we've seen the packaging, let's take a look at the film. Suspiria is the first of what has come to be known as Argento's Three Mothers trilogy, which also includes Inferno and Mother of Tears. Jessica Harper stars as an American ballerina named Susie Banyan. She arrives in Germany on a dark and stormy night on her way to the Tanz Dance Academy, where she plans to live and study her craft. She finds herself locked out of the school after seeing a student fleeing in a panic and talking nonsense. This sets up one of the most gorgeous and memorable sequences in the entire film. That student retreats to a friend's apartment hoping to hide from an unseen menace. The film makes its undeniable impact with this very first kill. The student's face is pulled through a window. She's stabbed repeatedly, and even her exposed heart is punctured. Then she has a cable tied around her neck and is sent crashing headfirst through a stained glass window. Her friend downstairs is mortally wounded by the falling glass. The last thing they see before dying is this bloody Art Deco extravaganza. It seems at first that Argento may have climaxed a little too soon in this film, but he manages to hook the audience with that scene and keep them locked in. Susie's introduction to the school falls on the same day that the police are investigating that student's murder, and she's immediately thrust into a paranoid environment. Everyone in the school is suspect, and some are gossiping about strange activity that they've witnessed. She also meets the vice directress, Madame Blanc, played by Joan Bennett. Some of you may recognize Joan Bennett as Elizabeth Collins Stoddard from the classic cult TV series Dark Shadows. There's also Miss Tanner, who is a very militant-looking dance instructor. Neither of them seem to be as concerned about the murder as the students are. As more bodies pile up, the film turns into a giallo-type murder mystery. Clues are dropped here and there, and Susie starts investigating on her own. Her reckless curiosity sends her down a dark and dangerous path. She looks sweet and innocent, but it's established early on that she's a very strong-willed woman. Just the type of woman that could handle a situation like this. I found the story to be really good, but not great. As the visual essay on the disc points out, there are a few head-scratching moments in the plot. Upon reflection, knowing the identity of the true antagonist, some of the decisions don't make much sense. There's a scene with maggots raining from the ceiling of the school which seems kind of pointless other than being a great visual. It's also pointed out that the doorknobs are placed higher up on the school doors. Argento originally wanted young children cast in the film, but that was rejected by the studio. So he made the actresses look shorter by raising the doorknobs. Just a little too much. The essay runs about 30 minutes and does a great dissection of the film by focusing on some of the most important scenes in the movie. The interview with Barbara Magnolfi was somewhat interesting and informative. She mostly talks about creating her character Olga, which wasn't very defined in the script. She brought some wicked sexiness to the film, and she was basically the only sexual presence, period. The crew from the Shockwaves podcast was featured in the 40-year retrospective. It was roughly 30 minutes, and they talked about their first impressions of Suspiria. They reflect and analyze their favorite scenes from the movie and discuss its cultural impact. They also look at the influence Suspiria has had on filmmakers throughout the years. Suspiria not only influenced visual style, but soundtracks as well. The soundtrack for Suspiria is phenomenal, and some might even argue it's the greatest soundtrack of all time. The main theme from Suspiria sounds like a music box nightmare filled with prophetic whispers. The music is wall-to-wall in this film and creates a paranoid, intense atmosphere. The frantic and relentless percussion combined with these psychotic synthesizers will make you want to run away from the unknown as well. The CD soundtrack also includes additional tracks not on the original release. The story might not be perfect, but it's elevated by the haunting Goblin soundtrack and Argento's imaginative visual style. Despite the film's dark atmosphere, it's popping with vibrant colors. Not only are his sets unnaturally colorful, but he also uses light to project color into his scenes as well. He certainly set out to do something beyond ordinary, and he showed everyone how much more a horror film could be. I thought this release could use some interviews with Dario Argento or even Jessica Harper, whether they be current or archived. It seems they could have just done a little more with the extras. They did an amazing job with the 4K transfer though, and the film has never looked better. The CD soundtrack is a great addition as well. All things considered, this release of Suspiria gets a 8.5 out of 10. Be sure to subscribe to the BloodyBlu YouTube channel and click that bell to receive new video notifications. Check out the BloodyBlu gaming reviews from GamerGhoul and Xander's Retro Panic. Join the BloodyBlu Facebook group where the community talks about their collections and upcoming releases. That's all for now, but until next time, farewell, and stay bloody.